Welcome to another episode of Let Love Be Your Guide podcast. My name is Dominique and I'll be your host guiding you through. So, just a little bit about me. I do want to tell you that I graduated from the University of Missouri Columbia with my bachelor's degree in English. And after graduation, shortly after, I moved back home to Atlanta in about 6 months. Later, I reunited with my high school sweetheart on Facebook, and we began to date. And maybe about another 6 months later, he proposed to me, and we got married. And I was pregnant at the time, so I don't want to leave that out. But he told me he wanted to make an honest woman out of me, and I accepted his proposal. And we had been in love. We've known each other since high school. So I thought this was perfect. This is like full circle moment. And fast forward through 10 years. And last year, we finalized our divorce in January 2021. And so it'll be a year now for me that my divorce has been finalized. And so I come to you telling you that this podcast is about how I learned to love my way through my divorce and how it was the only way that I could make it through without it totally wrecking my life. And so I want to tell you that you can do the same. You can love your way through. We're often taught that, loving somebody, it's a feeling, and loving somebody is not. Love is an action. Love is patient, love is kind. We get that definition from the Bible. And so you can choose to love your way through your divorce. And I promise if you do, it will be so much sweeter. It'll be so much better. And this is how I got through my divorce. And so that's a little bit about me. And this podcast, I want to let you know, it is an ongoing podcast. So it's a weekly podcast, and I'll be dropping it every week. I haven't decided a day yet, and so I'm probably going to be dropping it, I would say every Thursday. It's either every Thursday or Wednesday. So Wednesday or Thursday. And I am going to be taking questions if you haven't already followed me at Dominique Chantel. But I want to go ahead and get into this, what we're going to be talking about today. Our topic for today is, okay, I filed for divorce. Now what? Like, what's next? Okay. And so be sure, if you haven't already, check out the last episode where I talk about, can your divorce be avoided? And you can find that on my podcast profile. And so if you want to, again, check that one out, because I want to make sure that you're making the most informed decision and the best one for you. Okay, because I would have loved to have somebody tell me, what to expect, or how can I get through my divorce. I would have loved something like this to help me make an informed decision. And so that's what I'm here for. So again, I filed for divorce. What's next? Okay. The first point I want to make is you're going from two incomes, right, to one income. So that's the first point. How are you going to survive off of one income? Okay. And if you have kids, and if you're expecting alimony or child support, know that that is not going to come until after your divorce is finalized. And who knows how long that could take, depending on if you and your spouse are in agreement with everything, then it could be a short process through your divorce. But if you are fighting over like property, or fighting over who will get the kids, what weekend, it will be longer. It'll take longer. And talk about, child custody and everything like that. I will address that in another episode. But the better you guys are about handling this divorce, the better off the kids will be if you have kids. Okay. And so I just want to put that out there, because I feel like a lot of times, especially in divorce, we get caught up in our own emotions and how we feel and what they did to me, and they shouldn't have did that, and I'm still holding on from things 10 years ago, or 20 years ago, however long you've been married. But at the end of the day, especially if you have small children, you have to think about the kids, and they're going to receive and remember everything. So make sure that you guys are cordial. And that's why I started the podcast, is to approach this thing from love. Especially if you have kids, for the kids' sake, it'll be so much better. Okay, so let's just get back on topic. So number one, you're going to have to adjust to one income. So what is that going to look like? So for me, I know it was so important to create a budget off of my one income. I was a substitute teacher at the time. I wasn't fully teaching, and so my income was just like, it was little. And from what I had to create a budget from off of that. And I had to do some searching, apartment searching, what I couldn't afford. And let me just be transparent and be honest, because this is what this podcast is about. But I had to move in with my parents after I filed for a divorce. I filed for a divorce in December 17th, 2019 is when I filed for my divorce. And I chose to move in with my parents because I knew that I didn't have the financial means to get out there on my own just yet. It wasn't until maybe about 8 months later that I got out there on my own, and I shouldn't have did it then either. So, because I was still processing through my divorce financially, I wasn't ready, and it was just hard. I'll be honest, going from two incomes to one income. So I didn't think about that, nor did I have anybody to tell me, hey, yeah, you need to get your stuff together financially before you try to hop out there on your own. And so, again, you're going from two incomes to one income. So you have to make sure, again, that you have a budget, and make sure that, if you have kids, you're going to have to get, a bedroom for the kids. And so I would say, start putting money aside now, if you're still in the marital home. And it's always better if you can agree with your spouse on everything down the line, because it'll make it so much smoother at the end of the day when you can agree with things. And so, yeah, you'll already basically have things planned out. But if you guys can agree, again, that's another topic. You have to go through the court system, which could be pretty long and drawn out, especially with child support and everything, and custody of the kids. So it's always better if you guys can sit down and make a decision together about the finances, because I'm gonna tell you, when you get into court, it's a lot tougher. And I'll get into that in another episode, but I will tell you that the family court system, it's a money maker. People make money off of it. But I don't want to get, like I said, flow too off topic. But going back to the point, make sure you have your finances in order. You create a budget, and so that start paying down your bills. If you have credit cards, so that you can be financially ready to step out there on your own when the divorce is finalized, okay? If you do decide to stay in the marital home, okay? Point number 2, okay, is focus on the kids and yourself, okay? And I would say, and some people would disagree, but I would say focus on yourself first, because a lot of people like, oh, wait a minute, stop. She said focus on yourself first, but I always go back to this. You were a person before you had your kids. So if you are not mentally stable and you aren't mentally together, how can you give your kids what they need and provide for them? So when I say focus on your kids, I'm not saying as far as custody, give up custody. No, I'm saying focus on getting your mindset together. Like, start just doing some things that you like to do. And I'm talking like, for example, I like to go play tennis. I play tennis. I'll go play tennis. I'll go to the movies by myself. I'll take myself to the movies. If a friend wants to tag along, fine. But I will be okay with doing those things by myself and loving on myself. Guys, This whole podcast is about letting love be your guide. And I'll be honest to you, you have to take care of this first, and this first. I mean, like, mind, your body, and your spirit, you know, first before you can try to help or be of help to anybody else. So if you're not pouring into yourself, if you're not connected to the source, which is God, how can you be, you know, a great wife, or how can you be a mom, you know, um, to give the kids what they need? How can you be filled? And so you have to fill yourself up first. And so focus on yourself first, and the kids will be taken care of. You can pull from a place on, again, when you are spiritually fed, when you are filled up, when your mind, body, and spirit is filled, you can pour into your kids. You can give them love, the hugs that they need. You can sit down and read to them. You can take them to the park, you know, and enjoy. And so those are the things that I'm talking about. So feed your spirit, feed yourself, heal yourself first. And then again, the kids, all that, you know, the kids, loving on the kids, that's gonna come. But going through a divorce, it is a traumatic experience, and you have to feed your mind, body, and your spirit. So do that. And if you're a dad, same here. You know, I don't want to make this video partial, you know, or biased. But if you're a dad, fill up on yourself. You know, take yourself to that ball game. Go get a beer. You know, with the guys. Go watch that football game. Go on your motorcycle. Take a ride. You know, go on the vacation. You know, whatever brings you joy, fill you up first, okay? And when I say fill you up, again, this is all I'm talking about. My faith got me through it. Fill up on God, stay connected to Him, and He'll give you everything you need. And naturally, the kids will be loved on and filled up, you know. So do that first. So focus on you, and then make sure you focus on your kids, you know, because it's a traumatic experience. So you can start the healing process. And what I want to say is to anybody, when you get out of a divorce, do not, please do not jump into another relationship, okay? There is a level of healing that needs to take place. And I'm so glad I had somebody to tell me this. And so I'm telling you that there is a level of healing that needs to take place in your heart, and that only God can do, that only He can fix on. So get that first, you know, seek Him, go to Him, and get that healing, you know. And that's a part of, again, getting you together, focusing on you, focusing on your joys. What do you like to do? Maybe start that business, go back to school. So focus on you, you know, and stay connected to your source, and the kids will be great. Everything will come, you know. All right. My last point is to seek God and let go of trying to control everything. For me, let me tell you, when I say I filed for a divorce and I just knew immediately, and again, full transparency, I was, you know, talking to someone, you know, in the midst of me going through the divorce, and it wasn't right. And I know it wasn't. And so when I filed for divorce, it was immediately, oh, I'm going to be with that person, you know, and it didn't work out, of course, because it was just a bunch of mess, right? I brought them into a mess. And so when I actually sat down and I was like, okay, I need to process through some things in order for me to be better in my next relationship. I need to be better for myself. I know that there are some things that I don't care for about myself, that I don't like, and some places that I need to heal. So I need to do the work. I need to do a deep dive. And that's when I decided to put myself in counseling. I needed a therapist to help me dig through these childhood traumas. And I talked about that in my last video. And, you know, sorry, could your divorce be avoided? I talk about how 9 times out of 10, the things that we deal with in relationships are childhood traumas that had never been healed, and they're triggers that are, that go off. And so we never deal with those triggers. We never deal with that trauma. Therefore, in a relationship, it comes back up and it ends up ruining and permeating through and ruining the relationship. And that's what you do not want. And so, um, I thought that I was going to be with this person when I got my divorce immediately. And it didn't happen like that, because that's not where God was calling me to, and that's not what He wanted. And then think about how, if I would have gotten into a relationship with that person, think about how unhealthy that would have been for me and the other person. Me just coming out of a relationship of 10 years, that wouldn't have been fair to him, because it's like I'm damaged, and I can say that I was damaged goods. I know my worth. I know up under all that damaging and all that residue, everything that I went through and everything that I've healed, but there was damage. I was basically damaged goods. And so that wouldn't have been fair to him. And so take the time to heal, and take the time to just let go of trying to control everything when you go through a divorce, because I'm going to tell you, things will not turn out the way you think they will. I thought I had my divorce all planned out, but it did not go the way I thought it, should go. And so that's the thing you run into, trying to, figure out if this is going to work, if that's going to work out. But I will tell you, you can't control it. And then again, going through family court too, you can't control what the judge is going to say, or the custody that he's going to give to you or dad. You can't control that. And so it's best just to give it to God and to stop trying to control things, because I'm just speaking from experience. I tried to control things and it did not work. It totally did not work for me. And so that's what I want to say. So just to recap, I want to go back to talk about the things that we discussed in this episode on your file for divorce. Now what? So the first thing is, plan how you are going to live off one income. Remember, you're going from 2 incomes to 1. So how are you going to live off that one income? You need to set a budget. Number 2, focus on your healing, okay, and focus on your kids. Don't jump back into another relationship. It's unhealthy. It's not healthy for you, and it's not healthy for the other person. Okay, I don't care what anybody says. Like, the bottom line, you need to heal so that you can be better going into your next relationship. Okay, if that's what you so choose to do. If you choose to get married or just be in another relationship, okay, you need to be better to go into the next relationship. Number 3, stop trying to control the outcome of what's going to happen in your divorce. You don't know what's going to happen. You absolutely do not. You don't know whose side the judge is going to be on, and so you have to just let that go and let God be in that and make those decisions. That's the bottom line. So I do want to go ahead and tell you that all these things that I talk about how I process through my divorce in my book. And I want to let you know that it's 30 days of amazing content, and there's a journal included in my book where you write out how you're feeling on each day, and how the Bible verse that I provided for you at the top, how it has helped you through the day. And so I want you to personally know that I am inviting you to please go and order a copy of my book. It's on Amazon. If you click the link below, I have it. It's on DominiqueChantel.com. And if you haven't already followed me, please follow me on Dominique on Instagram at DominiqueChantel.com. at Dominique Chantel, and then also on Facebook. I'm just Dominique, but I do have a page, author page, Dominique Chantel. Please follow me so you can keep up with all my events, all the books. I'm putting out another book this year. I'm currently writing it right now, and it's called Let Love Be Your Guide, and it's volume 2. So I'm so excited about that. And also like, subscribe, comment, and share my videos if you like them. Tell your mama, tell your grandma, tell your daddy, your baby daddy, your baby mama. Please, y'all, support your girl, okay? I am so excited. I am just committed to helping as many people as I can to make the most informed decision for them. But just to always let love be your guide in everything that you do. If you stay rooted in love, please know that everything will come to you. Everything that you need, all we need is love, and all we desire is love. That's what we all need, and that's what we all desire. You know how I know? Because God is love, and He designed us to come back to Him. He's our creator, and He loves us. And so with everything you do, approach it with love and be deeply rooted in love, and you will live a life filled with abundance. I'm telling you. With this principle. So I am so grateful that you decided to join me. Again, let love be your guide today, forever, and always. Until next time, love you guys. Bye.